Right, just come out of changing rooms with lads. End of another solid training session. They're all fired up, ready for the big game on Wednesday. They've just sat me down for an hour and chewed my ear off. You know what all these fucking footballers are like on social media? Oh man, why do they listen to it? They're obviously looking at other managers and their predictions. I've told them, in the words of our Norwegian friend who did put us down there as well, told them to calm the fuck down. The lads that are sat there are worried that these managers think they're worse than the players that they've taken over, when there's no chance of that happening. Look, we're not going to have a worse season with a better team, and we're not going to have a worse home record. We're not only going to draw one game all season. So no, we're not going to have a worse season at all in the slightest. No, it's not happening. Like I say, I fully respect the reasons for people doing it. They've obviously seen how I managed a team last season, seen what I did with certain players and the quality of player that was in the side. But the starting 11 for the Aston game, barring Serena, who I think Mazzantini is a little bit... I think he's a little bit hard done to, considering back into the season, but I'm always going to be looking for a proper first choice for this season coming. Something about choice, I still something there with him where he's likely to throw a frigging four in anywhere down line. So that's why I moved to get Sereni in, who is a very solid, very reliable keeper, who will do really well for us. So on to Alf, who took 6 points off us last year. And the biggest thing for me is he's gone and had Joseph Wooder in his corner all pre-season. He can learn a thing or two, can Wooder, massively. As we can tell from the times that he was actually in the driving seat at Dragons last year. I'm happy to see the Dragons lads are all putting three heads into one. But obviously we all know where the weak link is in that threesome, so to say, which is why he was pimped out to Aston and allowed to go. And I bet if he'd have offered not to come back, I'm sure lads might have took him up on that offer as well. But yeah, we're gonna go. We then face Haggis, so we will start with 2 home games. There's no way whatsoever I'm gonna go 3 home games on bounce again losing. There's no chance. It's not going to happen, and it were a complete fluke of nature, my own form at the start of last season. Again, the first game of the season should have been home and hosed. It should have been a comfortable 3 or 4-0 win in my eyes, massively, as was mentioned by all the co-coms at the time. Which I know I keep going back to it, but a result like that on this game, it can shape your season and how you're going to go. So yeah, we are aiming to get off to a really good start and get 6 points from his first 2 games, both at home. Squads as equal as they are, you've got to be confident of getting 6 points at home at your first 2 games. Then we go away to Dragons. These boys have been spouting a whole heap of shite. And the one I wasn't expecting it from was Mr. Hopkins himself, jumping all over Twitter earlier. Crespo was sat there when he's putting bloody gifs up of somebody missing a ball. He said, "Yeah, Gaffer," he said, "I put an hat-trick past him." And they're talking about Dudley Hill strikers misfiring. Well, out of 2 Argies that are going to be playing, I think there's only going to be one that's going to come out on top on that. No way he's going to get that 20 goals that Mr. Wood has promised him. No wonder they did try pimping him out to Astor. Anyway, we're going to go with our predictions of how we think the league's going to finish. For me, a lot of this is bearing on the transfer activity, a lot of bearing on bits of form being up and down last season. And yeah, I'll probably get my tin hats at the ready. And there's going to be a couple of predictions there that people are certainly not going to agree with, especially considering what people were saying at the end of last season about probably one of the sides. And to be fair, I mean, no disrespect to especially that manager, but I mean no disrespect to any of the managers that I have put wherever they're put. If they obviously don't agree with it, which you won't, nobody will agree with where they're being put by other people. You're all focused on your own team and where you want to end up. So we'll start with top 6. So for me, Fulchester, reason being mainly is Maka has lost players who were never at the detriment to his first team. I think I've probably taken the player who played the most for his first team off him, and the players he's brought in will all come into the team. I think he'll get a better song and dance out of David Beckham than Hulls did. I know he had a couple of good games, but I just think with Mac's know-how and the players he's got coming in that he knows like the back of his hands, I just think it'll give him that little bit of an edge to get him top of the league. Oddie again, or number 2, even though he was late to the party. You've got Torres, a year older, getting firing with Montella again. He's obviously got the base of an extremely strong side, and we're really, really unlucky as well to not come away with the title. So in 3, we've put fucking Hulls, who got a lot of respect for Jens, but he's put us near the bottom as well, so they're going to get a twatting when we play them. Number 4, Dudley Hill. I'm confident we'll get up there. Number 5 is Boston. I think they've generally got more attacking players and better creativity there than they did have last season. Will that fit into their... I better not say that word. What is it? Tactically superior formation. I'm sorry, but you're not going to get Pablo Aimar running around kicking people and winning games like that. Then number 6 is Devils. I think Fife is going for a little bit. We were having some chat. I think he's having a little bit of different tact this year in terms of formation. He played pretty much the same formation all season, and his ups and downs, he sort of learned from that a little bit and thought, let's just change it up a little bit, not too much. And I really like the way that he's lining up and where he's going to look for this season. So 7, I am putting Dragons there. I think their first 13 or so players, 13, 14 players are really strong. If they have a bit of a raft of injuries, I think they are going to struggle a little bit. Considering their DM is so strong, I think basically behind the first 11, they've got Zaure, who's more than capable of being a starter week in, week out. And then you are looking to people like Said to probably play centre-half and Ronnie Johnson, who I absolutely love. But I just think there's not enough depth behind them to keep a real strong run for it. But I do think they're going to have a lot better season. Then I have got in 8th Gazelles. I know Craig ended up with quite a few bit of money spent in the auction. I'm not sure. I obviously don't know Craig enough, but the way that from not so solid start to sort of grind his way, so to say. I obviously I played really well against him last game of the season, and he got a red card, Ferdinand penalty, and he did one over on us. So I could be doing him a bit of disservice from when I'm putting him. Then we've got Haggis, which I hate doing. I've got a massive lot of time for Ian. He's changed his team up massively. I'm in no position to question any Super League managers' formations, but when I've had a look at what he's playing, it's really strong. But it just seems to be there's like somebody like Mendieta where he's sticking with where he played in for last year, and he didn't really tear no trees up. But again, another side who on the day can go smash somebody 4 or 5-0, think no of it. So after that, we've got Scott Bostock. I think some of his transfer business has been a little bit to the detriment, slightly. I don't know. I'm probably saying the wrong thing there because he's brought Ariel Ortega in for me, who will give him far more than Joe Cole. I think he'll get more out of that. I've obviously discussed that with Dragons lads. I think even a season 2 Cole is not a level of Ariel Ortega, and that's if he gets in Scott's starting lineup. Salva, who were obviously firing at reserves for Dragons, and he's a really solid enough player. So if he can get a massive tune out of him, I think he just needs that bit more goal threat. Obviously, we're reliant on Big Shagger last year and didn't have the best of seasons. Didn't actually let Alan Smith go. So it's going to be really interesting to see where a lot of his goals are going to come from, in my opinion. That's the only reason for me sort of putting him down there a little bit. After that, we've got Sloths in 11th. I think it looks like they have let Totti go, which I don't blame him. Can't blame him in the slightest. A bit too reliant for me personally on Zeriberto, David Collins and to an extent Salihamidzic on the right. I think it's going to be. I think losing Tomasi to myself, I'd have said it about anybody. I think it was. A little bit of detriment as well to not sort of seeing the season out from where they were. As much as he won't playing so much as well, I just think he's a massive step up on Neil Scally, especially at this level. So then after that we've got Churchtown, which I'm probably doing that so without knowing the full ins and outs of Kieran's transfer business. Going off the couple that I do know, obviously the one that were in last season, Emerton, for Yakubu, I was quite baffled by personally. As last pre-season, I did actually go back to Kieran after we did a deal for Emerton, and he quite flatly said no, which I'm not surprised about, but he's obviously made a decision to try and strengthen his team in other ways, and but he's a manager that he knows what he's doing probably far more than I do. So, and at this level as well, he's more than proved his worth. So, really tough one, Churchtown. And then in 13th, I've gone for Northern Burn, which is the one that I was questioning myself. Really good back end to season, did Ian. I do think somebody like Van Bommel, bit of a loss. Stephen Davis, who came in, whenever he came in, he was doing a really good job for him last season. And it looks like he's going to throw his out on Maxim Sigalko up front on his own, especially at the start of the season with. Going to be really tough for me. Obviously, he's got a season 2 Robin, who's going to be a lot more improved on last year. I totally understand his reasons for letting Zambrotta go as well, considering the little return that he got out of him. But he's one of them players that you put in because he's Zambrotta, as I were doing with Totti, and I have done with bloody Ayala. You just do, and they don't, and yeah, you persist. So do apologise about it. And then bringing up the rear, unfortunately, Asta. If they do, I hope he puts all blame square on Wooder, because it's probably his fault. I can't see why it would be Al's fault. Definitely anything that he takes on board from Wooder will be to the detriment of his season. So, I've blabbed on long enough. Massively looking forward to the season. Massively looking forward to see how everybody gets on. Chatting group's been great tonight. And just hope nobody's offended with where I've put you. It's just my opinion, and it's probably completely wrong, except for us. So, everybody above where we were, we're fucking coming up the hill.